From a variety of undisclosed locales in the greater metropolitan area, it's time once again for the long shot. Come hell or high water. Tonight's episode, I have shame. Racism is bad. And now, please welcome the host of the long shot, Sean Conroy. Jamie, are you ready?
There's a slight thing worth mentioning.
Okay.
We have a live stream at 5:00. We offer now a product called Dynograms, so people can send a message to people in the pre-show.
Oh, cute.
And part of my job is to make sure that file gets uploaded. I've uploaded it. People have been notified, but until I know that they got it and it works, I just have to check every few minutes just to make sure it's all good.
Great.
And with your support and your blessings, I will be more at ease. So thank you for the rallying. I really feel a sense of rallying right now. I appreciate that.
It takes a village.
Yeah, no, that's great.
I didn't understand anything you said, Jamie, but
he might be a little bit distracted because he wants to ensure that a file is...
It's a file situation.
I like how you quit on your explanation halfway through because you didn't understand it either, Amber. Okay, we ready?
Been a good episode.
Thank you. That's our show.
Nap time.
It sounded like you said nap time. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day, good noon, good dawn, good night, good eventide, good dusk, good desk. Welcome to The Long Shot. It is a podcast. I am your host. My name is Sean Conroy. With me today on the show, the barely not napping Amber Kenny is here.
Good nap time.
Also on the show today, Joe Wagner is here.
Ready to nap anywhere, anytime. I can do it.
And of course, the nap king himself, Jamie Flam.
Already asleep.
That was pre-recorded.
It's time for another episode. What's that, Joe?
I said that was pre-recorded, what Jamie said, because he's sleeping right now.
Right.
Sorry.
It looks like it's happening now, but it's actually not. At some point, his comments will go out of sync with the rest of us, and that's when we'll realize he's not actually here.
When I worked at Disneyland, I did a show actually in California Adventure called Drawn to Animation, where I played an animator and I was talking to Mushu the dragon. So the whole thing was timed. Like you start the show, I think I've talked about this, by putting like a book on a button, and then from there on it is timed.
Hello, Amber, it's me, Mushu the dragon.
But you're still doing a scene kind of.
Totally. I honestly credit that show for making me a really good actor, because I would get bored. And so you would have to say the same words in the same timing. But some shows, I'm like, this show, I'm mad at Mushu. And this show, I'm like delighted by Mushu. And like, it's the same words, but it has like a completely different texture. Anyway. That's
different
all.
intention. You like just that. Think the thought, they say.
Right. But basically, Jamie's our Mushu.
See, that could be to anything. Like we know he's not here right now. Like
100%.
Yeah.
Think the thought.
Yeah, just think the thought. He's mad. He's actually expressing anger at Mushu right now.
What Mushu do to you?
He's always up to something.
Is that from Mulan?
Mm-hmm. Fun fact, I've never seen Mulan.
That is fun.
Well, here's another
never,
fun
they say
fact.
Never meet your heroes. Hey, that girl who used to do the Mushu act never saw the movie.
I feel like Mulan just came out, but
That's the live action one.
old enough to be when you worked at Disney.
Your father.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was before that.
That's what I mean. Like I'm talking about the original came out long enough ago.
I think the original came out when I was in high school. So that's the 90s, late 90s.
That was like yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the 90s are back, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. As if they
Do you know that
left.
it's as far away now?
The grandfather is the father of the
nap time. So let's start with a segment on the show that we like to call checking in. And just to see how far this can go, why don't we start today with Jamie?
It's great to be here.
Welcome back.
See, that could be he could say that at any time. Like that is a thing Jamie could say at any time. So far, I don't believe that he's actually
Joe.
Is this a deep fake of Jamie? Is this the first deep fake we're doing?
Has Jamie been kidnapped?
It's Aaron, our producer, doing a deep fake of Jamie.
Jamie, seriously, tell us something that's been going on with you since the last time we met, because it's been weeks since we've seen you.
2 weeks.
See, now I know he's real.
2 weeks.
He held up the newspaper.
Yeah.
The tip is
proof of life.
Doing well on the weekends, right, Jamie?
Yeah, there's been a pretty steady flow of rentals and live streams, and there is that. I also would love to
if you're going to do nap time, don't do it while you're talking.
I know. I went to the dentist.
Are you in a whirlwind, Jamie? It feels like you might be a little whirlwindy right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. There's always a whirlwind.
There's always a whirlwind.
I feel like I'm a robot, and I feel like like I literally have called myself a robot the last couple times I've seen you. But the roboticness that I'm programmed to react, and I'm trying to break free from my robot overlords, it's a much stronger feeling than it's been in a while. The last couple of weeks, like these brief glimpses into a creative.
Who are your robot overlords?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Like patterns?
You want us to kick their fucking asses, Jamie?
I'm trying to call on myself, and I've been doing this for years. I've talked about it, but I'm like writing myself notes every day when I'm in my creative / feeling myself like, Jamie, you tomorrow you're going to wake up. You're going to be back reconnected to the overlords. Here's your plan to break free of them. Does this resonate?
I feel like Jamie, I'm watching The Matrix right now.
Jamie, I can't help but chuckle anytime you literally say the word overlords, because it does feel very sinister.
It does. I feel like it's and I was thinking, I think it's a Led Zeppelin song where the line is sung by Robert Plant, "We are your overlords." And that's just a connection I made to a song and a lyric in it that doesn't really have any sort of implications beyond that fun fact. Only to say that I feel like I'm becoming the robot.
I can hear the shovel digging right now and the smoke. I can smell the smoke of your brain working overtime. Go ahead.
So, yeah. Anyway,
can I say something about the Overlord thing? Because I think you're framing it poorly for yourself. That's just my opinion. But when you say overlords, that takes agency away from yourself. You're saying, like, this is an outside force acting on me, as opposed to saying, I have no overlords. I am going to behave differently. I'm going to treat things differently. And I'm going to be more of, I don't know what, the person I want to be or whatever. You know what I mean?
I agree. I have all the power in the situation. But I would also argue that there are overlords that we all face, whether it's technology, society, expectation, all those things create a layer that I think we're all up against. That doesn't take away any agency that any of us have to break free and to retrain.
Depose.
Yes, depose. I was going to say depose. So that was great that you came in with it. I don't know what this mood is either. Okay, I don't really understand what
It's
this
classic,
vibe is.
baby. It's classic. Classic Lo Sho Po.
It's good.
So I'm trying to decipher and as much as you might be. But anyway, I do feel like I'm writing myself these notes. I'm having more clarity in moments.
Well, okay. Before we even get there, what you're saying is the overlords, to use your verbiage. Sean isn't in love with that, but we're gonna.
I don't want it to even be labeled as my verbiage, although I did choose to say that in all my notes to myself.
Is that you feeling like you can't fully express yourself? I guess I want to understand what even it is before we understand
What the overlords are doing.
Yeah.
Great question. Great question.
Or I should say what the overlords are commanding you to do.
Yeah.
Or not do.
I think they're throwing distractions at me at a level I've never experienced. Like, been there all along. In my 10 years with you guys, the overlords have been discussed in other names, other titles. But just the level of distraction.
Wait, is the overlords the Immaculata?
No, the Immaculata is is the army that's
The
fighting.
Immaculata
is the army that's
the
fighting.
resistance.
By the way,
Resistance.
Jamie's check-in has just been optioned by Peter Jackson. It's going to be a 7-movie franchise. As soon as you said the Immaculata is the armies.
I mean, arguably every movie, not every movie, but arguably a lot of Peter
Like
Jackson in
Mulan.
particular. Like when I think of Lord of the Rings, it's like all the, the hero's journey, but but what's funny is you said the word resistance, because resistance, according to some books I like, etc., is the overlords. That is a name that they give it. That's the resistance that's trying to get you to do anything but express and connect on the deepest level.
Wait, you lost me for a second.
Yeah, me too.
Where did this come from?
Say
Who
again?
gave it that name?
Oh, are you talking about like Zen? Like
Yeah.
Buddhism?
Yeah, I mean specifically.
So the resistance and overlords are the same thing.
Arguably,
Whoa!
that's the M. Night
We are
Shyamalan.
so
twist.
fucked. Behind that door are the overlords.
Uh-oh.
And then you open the door and it's like, hey, it's Bob from the resistance. Guess what?
Oh, wait, I think Jamie was saying the game show is behind those doors are the overlords. Behind those doors are the resistance. They go to
Behind that
There's
door
only
is
one
a trip to
door.
Jamaica. Yeah.
and the overlords are behind all three.
Yeah.
Did you ever read The War of Art, that book?
No, the art of war.
Sun Tzu.
No, it's The War of Art. Art of War is the classic.
My bad. I should not have corrected you.
No, but that's the more classic.
You're talking about the
Text.
farts of warts?
Nap time.
No, the
Okay,
War of Art,
sorry. The war,
which was written
for
by
art. The war for art.
The War of Art.
Oh, of art.
I highly recommend it to anyone that's dealing with that wants to make and create things that struggles. It's I think one of my go-to books. I really highly recommend it. But in that,
Giving you a lot of vocabulary to express yourself.
It really works, clearly, right?
well, that's the thing. It's like I can read that and I can read 1,000 things every day and be like instantly like,
Right. Like I get it, but then applying it.
But then I wake up and I feel like, and I've been feeling like this for a long time, but noticing more as I'm trying to be more present, how big of an army the overlords are sending at me. It's like, it never ends. Anyway,
Still not clear.
I wish I knew more I want to say more Lord of the Rings references.
So
You have to find the fairies.
That's The Hobbit. But same.
How about if you
universe.
say to the overlords, "You shall not pass"?
That is the key, Sean.
Jamie
It is to
answers
talk to the overlords.
100 emails with "You shall not pass!" exclamation point.
Select all.
You're not the booker at the Improv anymore. Sorry, I'm not trying to get past.
Every day, my goal is to write and create things. And every day, that plan is thwarted by a series of distractions that, unless there's a clear deadline, unless there's someone waiting for it, and
Of course, though. Like, that's human nature.
it's human nature. But like,
Sorry, I'm going to keep interrupting you because that's my nature.
sure.
You know, I can't help myself.
Are
You
we
knew I was.
overlords?
You knew I
Right
was
now.
a snake when you took me in.
John is human. After all.
But I just want to point out to you that what you said was, every day I want to write and create things.
Mm.
I think that's a slip up right there.
More
The lack of yes, I wrote that note to myself last night.
Good one, Sean.
I need to have set intention. Like before,
Mm-hmm.
there's not got to be the specific thing.
Right.
I think you're absolutely correct. I think that the overlords specifically try for me to avoid even defining what I want to be doing.
Mm.
I don't know. This is not an argument. I think. we're on the same
Guess
page.
what? You know what? You know who the Overlord is? His name is Jamie Flam.
The call is coming from inside the house.
Oh, and I'm not saying I'm a victim. I want to make that clear. Like, I'm just a human. This is a struggle. It's been a struggle for a long time.
Right.
Sometimes things happen in spite of it. And more than ever, like, I'm ready. And I'm realizing that it's going to it's just changing habits on a much deeper level than I have in a long time. And so
How are you going to do that?
literally have to change my behaviors.
Yes. Go on.
For example,
You mean
but-
sort of by developing new
Habits?
habits.
new habits, yes.
By the way,
Nice circle we
100%.
got going.
real quick, Jamie, I don't want to
By changing your behavior, you'll develop new habits, and then those new habits will make sure that you have changed your behavior.
Yes.
Jamie, I don't want to get too into your privacy with therapy, but do you ever laugh like that in a session? I'm just curious. Has that ever happened? Because I would
that laugh,
imagine,
like the nervous kind of.
I would imagine
That
the
weird laugh
therapist
you do,
that might be when the therapist makes a note. You know what I mean? Like in the book, like because there's that tension of it.
I'm very open in my therapy, and there's still. I wasn't going to even talk about it with you guys. Like, there's still, as I'm learning more about my I think general reactivity and like traumas or just the things that I automatically will react in certain ways. There are ways that I react just being on this podcast that do not reflect reality,
Right.
but reflect 10 years ago, a version of myself that just this dynamic can bring about that is not true.
Deeply engraved, like, patterns. Just
Like, I still think of this podcast that doesn't match up exactly with where I'm at most of the time, but like, I still tap into a version of me 10 years ago that was so nervous and like just like wanted to prove something, and a version of me that was just completely different at a different point in my life and career and all that stuff. So sometimes just seeing your faces, and it makes me like start to get more self-conscious.
Jamie,
Like, there's a version of that Overlord conversation that I can have probably with any one of you one-on-one,
that would
where I
go
sound
better. Right.
eloquent. Like, I have words and vocabulary that I've never said overlords in relation to this conversation once. It's something I talk about with people constantly.
that's a Lo Sho exclusive that we're getting.
So it's an awkward place to be sometimes where I'm like, no, this is what am I?
Jamie,
Right.
it's a great word. It's a great word.
It's Overlord works. It's fine.
I love it. Not to put you on the spot, but to what Sean was bringing up before. Is there anything right now, Jamie, as far as an idea, one specific single idea that is pulling you? Is there? And if there's not, obviously that's fine too. But I'm just wondering if there is anything that has been kind of swirling around that you seem to be coming back to.
Yeah, there's a couple things that are very, and to be specific, I mean,
is there one thing? Yeah, there's a couple things.
Well, one thing in particular, I mean, one thing is Dynasty. Like, there's this thing out there that it's still so broad. Like, it's a specific thing that was manifested through my hopes and what I want to create. That is this platform that gives me a place to produce or say anything I want. But that becomes overwhelming in of itself. So it's like getting even more. Yeah, the specific there. So there are some things, but then I think the overlords day to day are trying to distract away from it. Like every third day, I'll be like, "Oh my God! Remember when I was so excited about this thing?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm coming alive because of this specific thing." And then I'm starting to notice, and this is where social media and just my addiction, I think, to screens and stuff, it truly can take me out of the passion and excitement of a thing for days now at a time. And it's becoming so
it fades.
It fades until I get it again. And then it's like everything is trying to cancel that out.
No creative spark in you feels consistent enough so far.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough, Jamie. I mean, like I've been the same way for years. I have a shame as a writer of actually not having I'm not one of those Hollywood writers that has 20 scripts in their drawer. Like the idea has to pull me so hard to actually sit down and write that the fact that I've been working on this thing that I've mentioned on the show, that's after the last script I wrote was, I think, 5 years ago, but the one before that was maybe 10 years ago. It's like, it's tough. Everyone has.
I'm going to venture to say that before that was 15.
But I mean, it's
What? How many pages are you at, by the way?
That's parting shot.
We got a parting shot.
But Jamie, I mean, it's like,
I've made
stay tuned, everybody. Stay tuned. We will get there.
It can take time. Maybe if you focus a little less on, it might be one of those things, Jamie, where if you focus a little less on the overlords, because it feels right now that the overlords are very much in your head.
They're everywhere, man.
And I think you have to give them less power, is what we're kind of all saying.
Yeah, I'm taking meticulous notes and literally trying to devise a daily escape plan. Like just these reminders, like when I'm not in front of a screen, when I pull out a notebook and I'm sitting in my nook where I am now, or without the screens, like, yeah, that's when ideas will start to pour out. That's when I'm not I feel like a couple minutes, like I'm like, I must look at my phone for something.
Can I chime in? Is that okay?
I'm fine with it.
Will this be a distraction? Are you an overlord?
I have been here in New York for a couple of months now, and
That's
I'll probably
insane.
Be here. I know,
time
it's so
is
crazy.
Insane.
But I probably be here for maybe not another full month, but close to it, and then I'm going back to LA.
Wow.
And I'm excited to go back for a lot of reasons. One of them is because I have been thinking a lot about exactly what you're talking about, Jamie, as far as, my overlords are. No, I have not been thinking about overlords, but
that would be wow, that would be.
No, I did. I watched that J.J. Abrams movie the other night, which is called Overlord, and it's pretty good.
What's next?
The thing that you're talking about is, I think, here's a suggestion I have for you, because I really have been thinking about the ability that we have to distract ourselves from being creative and just how many things can get in the way. And I think one of the problems for you is that you're doing several things at the same time. Like you're saying, I want to be creative, I want to be funny, I want to write stuff, whatever. But you're also a theater producer. Like you're running a theater and trying to keep a business going and doing all that stuff. And those are completely different things. They feed each other. One probably feeds the other more than the other feeds the one, although you'd have to check with your overlords on that. But they're two totally different things you're trying to be good at the same time. And I think one thing that certainly I need to do this, and I think it sounds like you probably do too, is committing 100% to that creative process for a specific amount of time every day with nothing else involved. It doesn't matter. Like, even if it means you have to get up at 6 a.m. and work for 2 hours, then you don't bring your phone to the Nook. You don't bring your computer to the Nook. You might even leave the Nook out of the Nook. You might just be
no Nook.
I don't know where you would
from the north.
No Nook is good Nook. Yeah. But because it is so easy to do all the things you're talking about, and as soon as you do that, you're lost. Everything is gone. You know, I was reading an article in the Times the other day about Graham Greene, who, you know, big time famous author from a long time ago, who I am not really familiar with his work. I know Quiet American, which was a movie back. I think there was maybe a Michael Caine version, and then a Brendan Fraser version that came out more recently.
They're the same type. I get it.
Caine and Fraser.
But it's about I think it's about a CIA agent working in Vietnam or something like that during the 50s, before the Vietnam War really took off. But he wrote a bunch of novels. He wrote, I think, somewhere in the vicinity of 24 or 25 novels. And one of the things that really stood out to me in this article, the article was about a bunch of different things, but one thing that really stood out to me was he wrote 500 words every day. That's it.
No matter what.
If he was done in the middle of a sentence, he was done, because that was 500 words and he was done. But no matter what, yes, he wrote 500 words. And so he gave that amount of, and he was a messed up dude, you know, like he had all kinds of issues with sex and with, I can't even remember, but I'm assuming alcohol, because I assume that of all writers. But 25 books, you know, because he sat down and wrote 500 words, by the way, is not,
it's not that much.
Ton.
Yeah.
And I think what it sounds like it would be helpful for you to do is to give yourself permission to pay that much attention to yourself. You know?
Permission is a good word.
That it's not about the overlords are saying this and that. It's like, I'm the fucking overlord, and I'm saying I'm allowed to do the thing that I want to do, in addition to all this other stuff I want to do that's going to take up all the rest of the day.
Yeah, I think permission
prioritizing it and go, I mean, you know, who knows when you do it, but I feel like if you go, this is going to be the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, that just makes it easier than going at 4 o'clock, I'm going to stop everything else I'm doing and do this for 2 hours or whatever. I keep saying 2 hours because that's what I have in my head, but however long works for you. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
I think it's spot on for sure.
Oh, bye.
Part of I nap time indeed. Go ahead, Jamie.
Sean expended a lot of energy.
That's really funny.
There's a giddiness. Sean.
The first day of spring.
Is today? Okay. Okay.
I don't think it is, but go ahead,
It
Jamie.
is.
Wait, permission.
Oh, another one of these.
Pretty sure that's not true. Go ahead, Jamie.
Oh, okay. So starting to pay attention to how, I don't know what the word is, but how distracted we can all get now. But as I'm breaking down the days and weeks, and like you said, like there's the running of a theater, which is a totally different thing. And to this point, with all of our team, like we still have not set like, here's the days we're doing this. Let's do a meeting here. It's just all kind of scattered. So seeing,
you've only been running the theater for 11 years now, so
it's been a minute.
You're still getting the lay of the land.
That is how it feels.
3 or 4 now.
We're in our third year.
Third year, yeah.
Wait, fourth year? No, this is our fourth year.
Mm-hmm.
The year 3 was pandemic year.
That changes.
It does. That means an Olympics amount of time. You know what I'm saying? Because every 4 years, when I was a child, would be the Olympics. Now it's every 2 years. Anyway, yeah, starting to like be better about. It's hard to even carve out that 2 hours or actually get into it because it is being sacred about like how quickly any distraction can come in, and when anyone can contact you and all these distractions that come in, that just can completely throw it all off. So protecting, yeah.
Right. I also want to say, this is in addition to what Sean said. I agree with everything Sean said, and I think that you should listen to that. But also, running a small business and running a theater are big undertakings. And I want to make sure that you're not just like beating yourself up for not doing other projects. Like, a lot of people, that would be all that they can possibly do. And you're doing that. Like, I don't want you to undercut the work that you're doing.
I appreciate that.
But you still can carve out time for yourself to work on these creative projects. But I want to make sure you're not just like beating yourself up like
I am
a loser. Like being a small business owner is no joke.
Well, a lot of the things, it's like where they're not creative projects that are completely distinct from the theater. Like they're things that are even like in the realm of marketing for the theater. And I am beating myself up. I'm trying not to as much, but just as I felt since I've known you guys, like I just feel like if I actually maximize even 2 hours a day more of actually focused things, like I would be a lot more just content and feel like I was expressing myself more. Anyway, I went to the dentist this week and I haven't been in 3 years, so that was a thing. Let's move past it. Thanks, guys. Fuck the overlords. I am the overlord. What is an overlord?
How are your teeth?
I need a shit ton of work.
Oh no.
Here's the thing. Going in
overlords.
If they told me I had to replace every tooth in my fucking head, I wouldn't have been surprised. So the news in that regard was positive. But also, like, it was that visit that I've been thinking about.
Jamie, I got good news for you.
Every fucking tooth in your fucking head.
Thank you for having me as your dentist. But I will tell you that you only have to replace 39 of your teeth.
Oh,
so
geez.
thumbs up. Not every tooth in your head. Yeah.
Let me put that more positively.
Good
you have
work.
one good tooth.
Also, you have 40 teeth, which is... That seems like a lot. How many teeth do we have?
Oh, boy.
Do you guys know off the top of your head how many teeth you have?
Do you think there will ever be any agreement on this show about how many teeth the human...
I think it's different for every person, right?
Really?
I think there is some variation. There is a range.
There's
a range of teeth?
It's somewhere between 0 and 100, generally speaking. Well, because some people have 2 rows. Like you have the front teeth and the back teeth on the top and the front teeth and the back teeth on the bottom.
Like babies. I mean, that blew my mind a few years ago, like that babies are born, all of us were born with our adult teeth.
Our producer is saying 32.
32 came up earlier today. and I'm trying to remember why, but I mentioned it because whenever it comes up, I'm
Was
like,
it the temperature of an ice cube being frozen, or
no?
Darn it. Was it O.J. Simpson's number when he played for the Buffalo Bills?
Was it? I'm thinking for me, it's always Magic Johnson's number.
Did you go by a local Los Angeles supermarket called 32 Market?
Oh no.
Was it the speed limit of a?
Oh,
Was it the speed limit of a very specific town?
No.
We make the rules, Iowa.
I don't know, but 32 came up. Oh, so I guess we have 32 teeth, unless we lose them.
Mm-hmm.
But does that include wisdom teeth? If so, then I have 28.
What was the verdict, Jamie?
Oh,
Did they tick it off? Was it a list of things?
It was a list of things, and they're like $4,000 worth of stuff. I'm like, I didn't budget that. I've never it was like the visit I've been kind of worried about for years, where it's like involves a crown. I've never gone
Great
past
show. Great show. Love it. Big revelations, Megan. I don't know.
Anyone here have a crown?
I don't have.
Yeah, we're all royalty, pal. We're all royalty. Yeah.
Jamie, I had a root canal, but I have not had the crown placed yet.
But that's like recently.
I binged Root Canal on Netflix. Boring as shit.
You should watch the. Oh shit! What's the Blind Side? You should watch the Blind Side instead. Jamie, yeah, no, I had the actual root canal procedure. They dig out all the stuff. What Sean had later in the after, but I have not had the
after.
Well, because mine was very early on. I had a root canal in April last year, and but then the pandemic got worse. So
you're not talking about the after. You're talking about the during. Later. In the during.
Sorry, later, during, after. Time. Come on.
Come on.
But I haven't had you have to have the finishing procedure is the crown.
Right. Wait.
We talk about root canals.
It might be
70%
more
of
than
the
dental
time.
podcast.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's all coming to me.
There's dental podcasts right now going, guys, can we stop talking about overlords and just talk about teeth for a second?
Do you think that applies to our demographic in any way?
So you got a bunch of shit to do, Jamie. So what happens? Because here's the thing that I've had happen at the dentist, not recently, but years ago, where they go, it's going to be $4,000. But the good thing is we will finance it for you. Ooh. So did that happen at your dentist?
No. What do you mean?
It sounds shady.
Of course it sounds shady. It's absolutely
it costs
shady.
a lot more. You just have to pay.
Oh, just like it's a credit situation.
Yeah. Jamie, we're happy to let you do a payment plan, you know.
Did they do any payment plan explanation to you?
No.
A lot of clinics do that. They'll say, here's what we can do, and we can knock this off and knock that off. And
no, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I guess I can piecemeal it. Apparently the crown situation is the most pressing. And then I grind my teeth, and every dentist I've ever seen is like, you grind your teeth, and they've all suggested that I get a night guard. I never did it.
The best thing to do when a dentist tell you something is just ignore it and then hope it gets better, you know?
By the way, Jamie, getting a night guard when you're dealing with overlords could be a great thing.
Especially if you're trying to get a crown.
Right.
It all came together.
It did. Guys, this has been a blast. Thank you so much. A lot of fun. Great to be back on the show. I'm going to kick it back to you. I think I've more than utilized my 47 minutes.
Well, you didn't start right at 7.
True.
All right. So Jamie, that was your whole checking in. That's all you got?
I can dig up some more if you need.
Entire therapy
He teases.
Plus a dental visit.
Okay, if you just want to gloss over everything, that's fine. All right. Well, then let's go next to Joe. Checking in with Joe Wagner.
Hi, everybody. I have good news. It's been a more positive week. I'm feeling good. My mom and my aunt got their first shot yesterday. Feeling very relieved about that. Thank you. I had mentioned they had signed up with a clinic. They had signed up at I guess they had contacted a couple places because I was trying to get them to do a drive-through one. But the drive-through one didn't get back to them. Another one did. And my mom went the day before to check it out.
And it was not a vehicle connected.
It was a walkthrough. It was a walk-in.
Walkthrough.
Sorry, walk-in. And my mom.
Like, I know this isn't what it is, but I picture it like the haunted houses at Universal Studios. Like you have to walk through.
They're leading my mom and my aunt.
For some reason in my head, the walkthrough also has like those plastic things that hang down like a car wash.
Yes.
And you have to walk through that to get into the room.
We're being very good about cleanliness here.
Mhm.
I love the horror maze one. You're not going to feel the injection. However, we are going to scare the shit out of you. They both, by the way, did not feel the injection. We're both very surprised at how they did not feel the.
Are they sure they got it?
Yeah, they did one of those sketch comedy syringes that pops. They
were also both stabbed at the same time.
I was proud of my mom. She really did do like reconnaissance, and she went, checked it out. She said that there were very few people there, and because she actually went in and they told her, we're doing, a lot of staggering, so there's only 2 to 3 people getting, shots at one time.
We're doing a lot of staggering. I'm sorry.
It's part of the haunted house thing.
We're all drunk. Look, we're all drunk here. And then they went the next day, and it went well. I mean, it was not being there with them. I was just I was anxious about it, but we texted back and forth, and it went well. My mom sent me 2 photos of themselves in the car with their masks. Green for my mom, which is her color, blue for my aunt, which is hers. And it just felt very nice to, I think what a lot of people are experiencing right now, to have the relief that a loved one in your family has gotten it. It just felt like I can go from there now. And the rest is the past. And now we go from there. Their next,
it's after.
It's after.
The before is now the present.
After.
Which will soon be the
and
after.
The future is now.
It's not the after yet.
No, it's the
look, it all depends on what the
pre-after. Yeah.
I'll wait for the overlords to decree what's going on.
Now is the pre-after.
Jamie, you didn't, by the way, see like.
Jamie, get out of the nook. Answer your phone.
Look,
check and see if you've been mentioned on Twitter.
I think the situation is taken care of, by the way.
I'm going to do a quick sidebar. A big superhero comic book movie came out called Zack Snyder's Justice League. There is a villain in it. A
new version of an old superhero movie, right?
Nap time.
Nap time. I just wanted to say there was a villain in it called Darkseid, who's supposed to be a very ominous figure. That voice, Sean, you should do a voice for a character like that, because that's exactly
Darkseid, the Overlord.
Yeah,
Jamie
that's
Clan.
Now Overlord. That's what it is, Jamie. That's what I'm seeing in my head. Is Darkseid from this movie. Anyway,
perhaps someone has sent you a message on Facebook Messenger.
They got the first shot.
Check again. Check again. Check again. Refresh.
Has someone resurrected your MySpace page?
Do a LinkedIn one.
Go look. Yes. Please congratulate Ralph Divins on LinkedIn.
Your profile will be mine.
You haven't done anything on LinkedIn in 7 years. It's important that you go check out the scene.
When did the Overlord turn into your what is that? A headhunter? All right.
Paul Blarper would like to be a connection on LinkedIn.
Headhunter kind of works in this universe too.
Yeah, right. or your life coach, they get their next shot in a month. Okay, so speaking of that, the other thing with vaccinations is that in
Richard
LA,
Pinson has validated your skill as an entertainer on LinkedIn.
He is a good entertainer. Thanks, Rich. Thanks, Richard, who I haven't seen in literally 15 years.
this is a hot room. I checked my BMI this week because Los Angeles has opened up the vaccination rollout to people 16 and up that have conditions. And one of those is a BMI of 40 and above. And I've never had so many friends reach out to me during the week to try to tactfully ask,
are you fat enough?
what's your BMI, buddy?
What does that mean? What, like?
So if you have a BMI
Body
of 40
mass
and above,
index.
body mass index. So
How much fat is in your body versus
Obesity.
how much muscle?
But not really. It's really just weight over height. Because technically, like The Rock's BMI is over the healthy amount, even though it's muscle.
Right.
It's not a perfect.
No,
measuring thing.
it's so funny that you mentioned that. I actually have exactly the Rock's BMI to the decimal. I was 5 points lower. I'm at 35.
Bittersweet.
Yeah, right. And
Someone has posted in Hats Are Us Facebook group.
Hats Are Us?
Your favorite group, Jamie.
Right.
I recommend Offer Up.
There is a lamp available.
There are many
but
lamps.
there will be
Many
no
lamps.
light
You could
in
spend a
your
great deal of time
darkness.
searching lamps. Some are floor lamps, some go on tables, some hang overhead. Have fun. Enjoy yourself.
You need
only
to
have
look at every one of the lamps.
Hi, is this lamp still available? Hi, is this lamp still available? Is this lamp
Jamie,
still
you
available?
know this, and I know this, but I am distracting you.
You are powerless.
I need to send you guys. This is
Against this collection of lamps.
Jamie, this is a reminder you set yourself. Ironically, it's a reminder not to be distracted.
guys.
That is my nervous laughter.
Being the Overlord ain't easy.
Overlord and it easy.
Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
I'm
So your
checking
BMI
in,
is
right?
35.
Am I checking in? Shit, my BMI is 35. So, past few days, I've been wondering because the
How to
policy.
get it up?
Well, here's the thing: the policy is in Los Angeles right now is based on the word of essentially the person coming to get the shot. It is self. What are they
Certifying.
Self-certifying. Yes. So it's like all you have to do is sign. I have this. I have that. I'm
Honor system.
this honor system, right? So I initially was like, "Hey, I'm under it. I'll wait."
Just put a pillow under your
And say ho ho ho.
But why would I? But I also decided to get on Sean's shoulders.
Or eat like just one order of Denny's churros, churro pancakes.
Dude, probably do a triple order of cannoli pancakes.
Cannoli.
I'm in, baby. I am in. I show up and there's still cannoli cream on my mouth. I pick a chocolate chip out of my mustache. So
You should be wearing a mask.
am going to start.
Put a mask on, sir.
I am going to start looking into getting a shot soon. I think that I'm close enough, and I think that the more people get vaccinated faster, the better. And I know myself, and I don't want to let this be a thing that I kind of just casually start to let go, like procrastinate about, because it's important.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Jesus, Joe. Yeah.
And but that's, I mean, in that way where
No, I mean, I could just see him like 6 months from now going,
I'm
get
gonna
around
I
it.
should probably get an appointment, you know?
No, look, I'm conscious of it. I'm looking into places nearby. I want to get it soon. It's helped that I've seen a lot of
Paul
people.
Pillsbury left a review of the Farts of Warts on Goodreads. Go immediately.
Deeper and deeper. Have you guys been noticing a lot more people that you know getting vaccinated? Like, I'm seeing those photos pop up. People have their cards. They're getting their first shots, which is great to see. It's really kind of literally life affirming. Okay, maybe this is getting better. And I want to make sure that I do that for myself. I don't want to, in my mind already, I was like, I'm going to wait until whatever that last category is, the rest, everybody else. And I thought I shouldn't be letting myself, I think, slide too much to that, because I know it can go south. So I want to make sure.
Joe Biden. I just want to report on how the vaccine has been going. And I will say there's only one person left who has not gotten his vaccine. His name is Joe Wagner. If anybody knows him, please reach out. It is time for him to be vaccinated. We will have full herd immunity. And my understanding is that his BMI fluctuates from 34 to 36, but generally is around 35.
I'm on CNN going, what can I say? I lost weight. I lost weight during the pandemic.
What I love is the fact that I now have a dead-on Joe Biden impression.
Oh my God. Move over, everyone else who did it. So that's my next. I hope to be checking in soon with getting a shot. How are you? Have you guys?
Do you know anybody? Do you know anybody who can help you with that, Joe?
No, I actually have been speaking.
Like, is there a friend who's like good at that shit that you can go, Tommy?
Look,
like, you're the computer guy. Hook me up with.
I heard you want a vaccine.
Yeah,
they open their coat. You know,
I'm not. I appreciate the question. I will say I don't think I'm 100% incapable of doing this.
No, I don't think you're incapable.
But
I just think it's not your forte. You know, and I think there are people whose forte it is that are good at like going, okay, the slots are going up at 6 a.m. So if I go and I refresh, okay, boom, I got one. You know, that's not what I see you doing. I see you going, I heard in a couple of weeks they're gonna, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I have actually talked to my friend, the person who I want to who have asked to take me, because I want to be, I want to go with someone in someone's car. So I have been, yes. And
hello.
I have a friend, I have a friend, actually Matt, my co-writer, my collaborator right now, my good friend Matt, who just got his first shot. He is, one of the stipulations for the vaccination right now was anyone with type 2 diabetes. He has type 1 diabetes, but same thing where like he also has aspects of type 2, and he was like, well, I'm just gonna go. I need to go. He has other conditions, and he got his first shot. So I've reached out to him, and he's already he just this week he volunteered to help me, get an appointment. So I'm feeling confident that I will do that soon, and I hope to check in with it very soon because everyone needs to do it. So don't let it slide.
You have a coupon from CVS for tooth care products.
Oh, no.
Would you like to browse immediately?
There are also 13 other offers on this receipt.
You still have a chance to save your one tooth.
May I mention something? YouTube.
I was just thinking, you haven't checked your Instagram in 0.8 seconds. Get back there immediately.
So there's my checking in.
So anything else, Joe? That's all you got?
I'll end with this.
This
just
is not a parting shot, right?
No. But just as a check-in, it was the one thing during my little petty personal week that really ruined the night, ruined the day. I had gone yesterday to buy some stuff at the store. I bought the beloved snack chips and salsa. I get home later that night.
By the way, that's my biggest weakness during all of this.
Chips and salsa.
100%. I realize
shoveling.
how much I just cannot live without chips and salsa.
Inhaling them. And it sucks when little things feel that much more significant now in the day, where I got so excited to have chips and salsa, and I pour the chips, pour some chips in a bowl, and I open up the salsa.
Oh, here we go. Yes. You open up the salsa.
And I got moldy salsa.
No.
I bought.
How is that possible?
It was expired already. I bought it like that. I didn't. Literally the first time I open it, and there is a huge. It's like an island. It's like an atoll. It's huge.
Joe, please don't say. Joe, please don't say what I think you're about to say. Please, Joe, please don't say what you're about to say.
It's white and fuzzy. Like, that's how moldy it was. It was white, fuzzy island.
I want to know what Amber is scared of you saying.
He's gonna say it soon.
Okay.
And
it was delicious.
Right.
There was already a green blackish kind of.
All right, we all know what mold
section to it, but it was
Joe,
huge.
you are like the gross out king of our podcast.
It was huge.
100%.
It was disgusting.
But here's the thing: isn't? Am I wrong about this, or is salsa not vacuum packed? Like, that means somebody opened that and put it back on the shelf.
I don't.
Expiration date or no expiration date, that shit should not be getting.
Sean, I was
this
just
is
as confounded.
This is 2021.
I was just as confounded as you are. I was pissed. I had the chips in the bowl, and I opened this thing, and it's a horror of horrors.
Chips in the bowl, snacks by feet.
Disgusting.
I'm impressed that there was a bowl. That's like a level of I don't know. Like, I think it's cool.
It was
that you
covering. Like, I could barely see an edge of salsa around the mold. So
you picked up the jar and threw it in the trash.
I took a spoon and I got it underneath, and I took out the mold. I took out this giant mass of mold.
I'm so
and
scared.
I looked underneath it. I looked, what does it look like? Do I see chunks of mold in there?
Don't tell me you ate the rest of the fucking thing.
I smelled it.
Oh, come on, Joe. That's insane.
This is what I was scared of, y'all.
He's the gross out king for a reason.
Amber.
Yeah.
The thing you got to know about mold is
I put the lid on the salsa.
It doesn't spread. Well, no, it spreads, but it doesn't grow. You can see. It's not microscopic. Oh, it is microscopic, but oh, Jesus Christ, Joe.
I put the lid on the jar.
Mm-hmm.
And I threw away the salsa.
Oh, thank God! This was a terror. I felt like I was your mom at the.
It was a ride. It was definitely a ride.
Haunted house.
For the record, did I Google? Can you get sick from moldy salsa?
But
yes,
here's
I
the
did.
thing.
Yes, I did.
Did you go back to the store and say, "What's up, motherfuckers"? You might remember me.
Yes.
From a few minutes ago.
No, I'm
the guy with the foam on his face.
Guess the fuck what?
Sean,
yeah,
I did.
See this foam? That's me.
Sean, I did. I called them. I explained what happened. I said, look, I go to your store all the time. You're one of my neighborhood stores. I appreciate your store. I'm just letting you know, you just sold me a jar of extremely expired moldy salsa. And
how do you feel about that?
You should
Sucks for you, bro.
You should check you should check those jars. You should, because you might be selling,
that's very selfless of you. I think that's very selfless of you to look out for the other people that live in your neighborhood.
Well,
I'm saying, did you go back and get another thing of salsa?
No, not yet. I planned to. They said I could, and I was like, great, thank you. It's fine, and I am gonna get salsa. I'm gonna get some good salsa.
What kind of salsa is it?
It was I don't remember, but chipotle. I remember it said chipotle on it.
What
And
kind
that's
of
the
chip?
thing.
That's
I
where
was
you
trying to
got the-
smell it, and I was like, "Is that a Chipotle smell? Is that a mold smell?" But look,
This is
I
why
went
you're
online.
looking at the mold and you're going, does that smell like Chipotle?
No.
Yes.
I had taken the mold off. It had a cap of mold. I took the cap of mold off.
I still feel like, I mean, I'm glad you threw it away. I still feel like that's insane that you were like, maybe it's okay.
Hey, you know what? I'm very open-minded, and I went online to see, just to be careful, because I am trying to take better care of myself. And I
Was
thought
there a
to
lot of
myself,
websites that were like, you should definitely eat anything you find underneath a moldy cap?
I'll tell you this, like a lot of stuff online, there were some conflicting opinions as to whether you
What did I?
sick.
But see, by saying that, you are saying, I understand that I cannot trust what I read online. So why were you doing that in the first place?
Because you try to find a
Confirmation bias.
you try to find a predominant
You try to
Did you
find
go
somebody
to,
who agrees
opinion.
with you.
Did you go to you'llbefine.com?
No.
I could probably eat this. Oh,
No,
look,
no. Actually, Sean, I was trying to
Flipper
find
469 says I could probably eat it. I should eat it.
I was trying to find someone online telling me, Joe, it's okay to eat that salsa.
That would be
that had mold.
insane if they said, Joe, it's okay to eat that.
I'm not. I wasn't.
Like,
I wasn't looking for the confirmation bias on the other side. I was looking for it on my side. But however, the preponderance of writing that I saw was not a good idea. And that was enough.
So let me follow up question. How long did you spend on this research you were doing?
I would say
2 hours.
No, I did a couple scrolls. I clicked on a couple things. I'm going to say 3 minutes.
And that counts as a preponderance.
As an initial look, no one has established any standards of scientific judgment here. I was just going from that quick Google search. What are the impressions I'm getting? I should probably not eat this moldy salsa. And ladies and gentlemen,
I feel like that was a
Lo Sho
waste of 3 minutes because you should have known that from the jump.
No, hey, you know what? Some people grow up in households where you can cut this off, you can cut that off, and you try not to be wasteful. It was a full
Don't throw your fucking moral judgments at me because you almost ate some goddamn moldy salsa.
I did not eat the moldy salsa. Everything is okay.
good job, Joe.
Thank you.
Hey, Joe.
I wasn't looking for any validation. I'm no hero.
Hey, Joe, I had a similar situation a few weeks ago with a kabocha squash, and I cut it. I had it here for a few weeks.
Right.
Cut it open. The inside of the squash wasn't like a straight up mold, but it had like a sticky layer to it. But I went down the same rabbit hole of like, I'm 99% sure I should not eat this.
Let me say, by the way, let me just say as a detail, because you just made me think of this, Jamie. The only reason why I hesitated more so than I might have is because it was a brand new full jar of salsa. And I was so excited to eat some of it. I was elated to dip one of those chips right in, and I opened it up and it was horrifying.
Right.
And it was devastating.
But not horrifying enough.
Because I was able to
there's a
lift
clean...
it out.
Yeah.
You know? Because it felt like it was floating.
But it's a liquid. Like it's all the same matter. Like it's.
No, I know.
No, but it does seem like it has like it does totally separate.
Because my problem, even if it was deemed scientifically safe, I think it would hamper my enjoyment of the salsa. Sure. Because I would be so in my head of like, is that Chipotle flavor or is it effing mold? Like this isn't going to be fun for me.
I took that into account. As well. I was like, I'm not going to be calm eating this salsa. It's not.
You took that into account.
And you want to be calm when you eat salsa.
And yet, you wanted to go check and see what NASA said, what the Mayo Clinic said. What the Nobel Committee said.
Dr. Phil, Oprah, Malala. I DM'd Malala about my moldy salsa. What's wrong with that?
Let me see what the internet has to say about this, because I think it's disgusting and I won't be able to eat it. But let me just check and see.
Maybe other people are it too.
I didn't want to look.
Yeah.
Hey, did I want to let go of that salsa? No, I didn't want to let go of it. I
Right.
didn't want to let go of it, but I let go
Do you
of
think
it.
also part of it is that things are a little bit more different? Like you can't just
No, I
get
know.
more salsa as easily as you would have in
Yeah.
the before times because we're in the later during.
Correct. Very.
Yo,
Yes.
what kind
Pre-later.
of chips did you want?
What kind of chips?
Yeah,
Great question, Jamie.
thank you. I really want to know.
It's just
Ask him what kind of chips he
kind of
would
like the like those restaurant style tortilla chips. It's like I don't.
Are they too crunchy? Yes.
They're very crunchy.
But they're
I like a crispy,
Yeah.
crunchy.
Make
Yeah,
a note to yourself to investigate later if there's a website that evaluates crunchiness of various types of chips. I'm serious. Make a note to yourself. Right now.
Guys, I'll be right back.
All right. Well, having said that, this feels like a good this feels like a good place to take a break. So let's do that, and we'll come back with more stuff.
Heck yes.
Bye.
Maggie.
For now, so long.
Hey folks, it's Sean. I'm not going to give you a whole song and dance. I'm just going to say we got some great news this week. The Long Shot Come Hell or High Water is currently 93rd on the South Korean comedy podcast list for iTunes. And you know what can help that is if you go on iTunes and leave us a rating and a review. And maybe you've already done that, and we appreciate you having already done that, but maybe you could do it again. Who knows? I think that's allowed. Maybe that's cheating. Maybe we'll be in trouble in South Korea, but you know, worse things have happened. So please rate and review, please subscribe. And now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Please enjoy. We're back. You are listening to The Long Shot Come Hell or High Water. It is a podcast. We do have a mailbag. You can email us, not mail us. You can email us, mailbag@thelongshotpodcast.com. Isn't that it? Right, Jamie?
It is, but there was one email in there that alluded to the fact that maybe you gave the wrong one last time.
I did, not last time, but a time before that, I gave the wrong email address. Or no. I gave somebody who had sent me a thing on Facebook the wrong email address. But then you sent out the info for the thing today, and I didn't understand the end of your. Did you give us the wrong password?
No, I just copied and pasted it from the original.
Because it didn't work when I tried to look at it.
It worked for me.
Can we say the password?
No.
That's funny.
Because hey, we all gotta admit it was a funny password, right, Sean? Right, Sean? Sean was a big fan of the password.
I was just surprised at Jamie's choice of passwords.
I was delighted by your.
I didn't know you were such a fan of Mutual Cunnilingus.
Oh my goodness.
Huge fan.
All right. Well, it is time for a segment on the show that we call Checking In. So, Amber, what's going on with you?
Sure.
Hi, Amber.
Hey, oh my
Hi,
God.
Amber.
What are you? What's up?
Hi, Amber.
This is not a sexy statement, and it is not.
We'll be the
Interesting.
overlords of that.
But daylight savings happened last Sunday, and it has really been fucking me up. And it's I'm sort of embarrassed by that, but I think it's because ever since we've been on lockdown, I don't set an alarm anymore. I just wake up when my body wakes up, and
Those two things go together.
right. But I mean, I'm not fighting it. It's just
what is that time generally, Amber?
6:30.
Okay, wow. That's,
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, God bless you.
that is early.
I know.
What is wrong with your body?
But then I wake up, I do yoga, I meditate, I work out, I go for an hour-long walk, I shower, and then I start working.
Ditto.
Wait.
Ditto.
You wake up, you do yoga, you work out,
No,
and you go for an
meditate,
hour-long walk?
then I work out.
Wow, that's a lot of exercise.
Yeah, I'm a puppy. Like, I get clinically depressed if I'm not active.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings us to today. So I'm waking up too late to do all of those things. So all week I've been like picking which one I have the time for. And it really feels like that combo. I don't work out every day. I guess that was a lie. I work out like 3 times a week. But that combo of activities has really been the secret formula for my mental health and my physical health. And so I wake up in the morning and I'm really tired when I wake up, and it's much later.
Late. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost 7:30.
So
we're talking 1 hour here.
but it's not just that. I think I like had like a exhaustion. So I'm waking up at 7:30 and I'm just like, ugh, and I'm looking at my phone for 30 minutes, and now I really don't have time to do anything. So like I've again been picking and choosing. Like one day I meditated.
Don't you wonder what Trevor Noah said on the Daily Show last night?
Like one day I meditated, one day I did yoga, one day I went for like a 10-minute walk. But real talk, all of those, the rest of the day, I felt off and depressed and like sluggish. And also it affected my sleep. Then I wasn't able to sleep that night. And then the pattern repeated. So I just felt like shit all week.
Right.
There was a couple nights I didn't sleep at all. And I'm very, very lucky. Insomnia is not something I struggle with. I usually am a good sleeper. I fall asleep quickly and hard and deeply. So when
Nap time.
Right. Well, so when I don't, I'm like, I don't know how to function, and I feel a mess. And
Jeff, are you awake? Because I am.
I went into the other room.
Am I being too loud? Are you awake?
I'm not functioning.
Am I moving around too much? Does this hurt when I poke you like this?
I did one of the nights I went into the living room so I wouldn't bug him, because I could tell I was just like a tossing and turning machine, and it wasn't going to happen. So I went to the living room and laid on the couch and listened to a podcast about the theory of relativity, to like
wake yourself up.
No, to like put me to sleep. And I thought it was so fascinating. I really, really
Amber was like, groundbreaking.
Yeah, the theory of relativity?
Yeah.
Jeff, you won't believe it. E equals MC squared.
But yeah, so last night after a beer, because it was Friday night, time to get loose, I had a beer, and then I was like, I'm going to explain to you the theory of relativity. And it was hilarious.
The thing is, if I traveled quickly enough around the sun, I would get back here before I left.
That is, by the way, that's probably because there have been a million variations made since drunk history, but that would be a good one.
Right.
Drunk people explaining science.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, science. That would be good.
Yeah. So that has sort of set the tone for the.
Did Jeff get it? Did Jeff get it?
Oh,
he got it. I don't think I explained it well.
But he still got it.
Do you have a 1-sentence synopsis
of the theory of relativity?
Yeah.
No.
It's crazy. I do,
I think
Jamie.
that's fair.
It's crazy,
I mean,
man.
This is a
It's
person's
That's
life's
crazy,
work,
man.
you know?
It's crazy, dude.
Hey, my description to Jeff did have a lot of like, it's insane. Like,
You're not gonna fucking believe this.
well, because here's the thing.
So you would be gone for 50 years, but when you came back, 5,000 years would have gone by.
And we live in a 3-dimensional world.
Speak for yourself.
But our brains cannot. So mass bends the dimensions, all 3 dimensions, but our brains, we can't even possibly picture what that is. So we use metaphors, which are like a sheet and a boulder bending the sheet, but that's still only 2 dimensions. It's not fully. Anyway.
By the way,
wait a minute. The sheet is only 2 dimensions?
I don't know.
by the way,
the boulder's only 2 dimensions.
You know who planned
the flat boulder.
Who planned it all out like this? The Overlords.
And just, a normal day at work, it's just more difficult when you're
Sluggish.
when you don't have a good night's sleep under your belt. Like
Jeff, sorry about the theory of relativity last night, but I just listened to a podcast about string theory. Check this out. String theory.
I like that Jamie's Overlord and my Overlord are like exact opposites. Mine's
makes
trying
sense
to
to me.
lull me into.
Yeah.
I don't get along with that other overlord. Let's start the meeting. He is far too breathy. Must you be so breathy?
Hi, Amber.
Hey. But the other thing was last Sunday, I convinced Jeff, I got it in my head that I really wanted to do his makeup, and I convinced him to let me, and it was the most fun I have had in a really long time. He looked gorgeous. I couldn't stop staring at how beautiful he was. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I told my parents, and my mom was like, well, what did he need his makeup done for? I was like, I wanted to. Like there wasn't like a shoot. It was for me.
Would you say you are a makeup aficionado? Or are you into? Have you like? I think as
Or like a fan.
It. I'm into it.
You're into it, yeah. I'm always curious how a girl got, either got or didn't get into makeup. Was that like? Because that's something that a boy never has to ever consider. And then it's like, how did you start? Like, what was literally like the first time that you tried to do?
I was
makeup?
probably 2 years old.
Right.
But
then, like in school, ever were you like, was there a point in school where you're like, well, I'll start wearing makeup at school?
Yeah, I think in junior high.
Right.
Because you're not allowed to for a while. That's also like a weird.
And what about as a grown up? Was there ever a point when you were growing up and you're like, I think I'm going to wear some makeup now. I think I'm going to wear makeup now.
Were there cool lip glosses, like flavored shit?
Are those two things the same?
like flavored. Like I was always jealous.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
I was always jealous of those like flavored lip glosses.
You can wear them.
You can also eat stuff.
I know. I'm talking about back then in the 80s.
I had a Skittles lip gloss that fell into my hands at some point.
Jamie,
I might have thrown it away.
Jamie, with the lipstick filter, you do look more kind of vibrant, more alive.
Do you guys know that this is available to you without any plugins?
Jamie, you missed an episode where I played with. Oh no, you were here.
No, I was here, but there's actually built into Zoom now.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
And so that mystery's been solved.
By the way, I have had it like that this entire episode and nobody said anything.
Sean's as white as a sheet. 2-dimensional.
I guess I have an interesting relationship with makeup because I really like it and I always have. I've been drawn to it, but I also don't ever want to. I don't like being dependent on it. So I
Right.
don't wear makeup very often.
Right.
Basically, the only time I wear makeup now is for these podcasts.
Not for work.
I might put on like, I have pretty pale lips normally, so sometimes I'll put on like a tinted lip balm if I feel like I look dead, or if I have an important meeting, I might put on makeup. But I'll go a while without wearing makeup.
But it's fun it's like it is a creative thing. Like what did you do for Jeff? Like what were the contours of as you were looking at Jeff's
Yeah, he's got
face?
a very angular face, so
Right.
there was, I gave him a very natural look. I would love to go farther, but I didn't want to.
And did you give him something that he could eat off his lips?
Skittles?
Could he lick his lips? I would like to segue off of makeup, and I don't know if this was part of your checking in, Amber, but drag queens have a lot of experience with that, and there was apparently a big show last night. RuPaul, was it a RuPaul? Tina Burner was
Got me.
Tina Burner was robbed. I've been reading. Lip sync. You were watching, right?
Oh, big time. That's my whole Friday is watching that show. Yeah, it's this has turned into a RuPaul's Drag Race recap show, but
I brought it up.
I like how Joe goes, I was reading.
I was seeing on
Go
my
on the
timeline.
internet and find out what went on in the drag queen world last night, Joe. That's Joe's Overlord.
I think I would say I think in reality TV as a whole, the producers do a lot to manipulate things because they want it to be as exciting as possible, and they have some outcomes that they are
steering towards.
Yes. And I think that's always been the case with RuPaul's Drag Race. I feel like the manipulation has you can see the strings a little bit right now.
Over a bit.
Yeah.
Because I was from my timeline, I was getting a big reaction that somebody was robbed in the lip sync competition.
I'm not even a huge I can't believe we're talking about this because it means nothing to anyone. But I'm not even a huge Tina Burner fan. But she won the lip sync. She won the lip sync. And they will do anything.
I swear to God, it's fucking criminal that they took that away from her. Where's she from?
She's from New York.
Bullshit.
And they'll do anything to keep Candy Muse, man. Candy Muse cannot lose. Yeah, so I guess that's my checking in.
So your week was putting makeup on Jeff.
And being tired.
And the theory of relativity, which is kind of big.
And that kind of bridges the gap.
Hey, Amber, you should move to New York, the city that never sleeps, because you might fit in better there.
Oh, dang. Oh, I do have another thing to say. But I guess I should have something for my parting shot, so maybe I'll just keep it in my pocket.
What's the wildest thing you could imagine doing on Jeff's face, makeup-wise?
No, I want to hear otherwise.
Let's not get into Jamie's fucking passwords, okay?
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
I don't know.
I'm trying to imagine Jeff with something dramatic.
I can't speak to Jeff, but within Liquid Feet, I get to play a lot because sort of the point is that it's garish and over the top, so I get to do a lot of the techniques that I wouldn't wear in daily life for Liquid Feet. So that's fun.
Is it garish?
Garish.
Terry Garish. I think the thing that I ate like an hour ago for mood enhancing just like shot in the last 3 minutes.
Hey, Jamie.
Wait, what did you eat for mood enhancing?
Oh, weed candy.
Here we go.
Hey, Jamie, what do you want to put on your colored lights? That might.
That's fun.
I kind of miss your colored light. I think that might help you.
You know, Joe.
Welcome to the most colorfully lit podcast on the internet.
No, that's not. There we go.
All right. Well, because Jamie's weed has just kicked in, why don't we segue right into parting shots? Let's get to parting shots and find out what's going on with everybody. So let's start parting shots today with Joe.
My first tiny little parting shot is that an addendum to my mom and my aunt getting a shot. They were given free groceries afterwards, which I thought was nice.
Connected to getting the shot?
Connected to getting the shot. So this person working there, she was trying to give this bag to my aunt, and my aunt thought that she was showing her these canned goods and stuff because they were like raising donations. And so my aunt said, "I only have $5."
No.
And the woman said, No, we're giving this to you. Oh, thank you. So my aunt got one, my mom got one.
That's a lot of food.
And the strangest thing that they got was, the first thing my aunt let off with was, they gave us a can of carrots.
That's adorable.
So they got canned carrots. I don't think, no mold, hopefully. They haven't, I don't know if they've opened it yet.
God
but
willing.
a can of
And I
carrots.
will say, in carrots' defense, unlike salsa, if you find mold in your carrots, you can just scoop that off and eat the rest of the carrots. It's fine.
Thank you for coming over to my side, Sean. I really appreciate that.
If you got
And I
mold
got
within
that directly from the Cleveland Clinic.
if you have
John
mold
Hopkins
inside a
is gonna weigh
can,
in.
there are real problems.
Real problems.
Because that's an airtight situation.
So is a
Hells
jar,
yeah.
I think, but maybe not.
Yeah, something happened there.
We got some tampering happening.
My
Mhm.
second
That's
quick
what I
little
mean.
parting shot is that we have talked about nostalgia on this show before. We've talked about some people's kind of obsessive craving of it. I try not to live too much in the past. I try to moderate that. However, I'm still just as curious about some of those things. And I have to say, I've been watching now the reunion of the very first Real World cast. And
It's my favorite show right now, Joe. It's my favorite show.
I was pulled into it, Amber, because I can distinctly remember being in college at a friend's. They were older. They had off-campus living. I was in the kitchen of their apartment, and I just watched the first episode, and I was talking about it at this party with someone. I know I just have the distinct memory of that, and I just remember it being. I remember being very into the show. I was a little younger than the people on the show, but I thought it was a very interesting show. I had not seen.
It was just 7 strangers living in a house.
And it was the first, for me, it was my first reality show. Now it is it
was everyone's first reality. I mean, it was like the birth of reality.
Yeah, and there was a show on PBS that had done before, because I remember I was starting to get curious about the actual
Masterpiece
format.
Theater.
This new documentary. No, it was it was called the
Upstairs, Downstairs.
It was about the Loud family. It was about a family
fundraising drive.
It was a family that allowed
You should take those mood enhancers more often, Jamie.
I love the purple lighting right now. It was about a family allowed PBS cameras into their home. I believe for I don't know if it was a week or a month, but it was for some time.
2 years.
They did a documentary series on the Loud family, and that was the closest any kind of documentary format had gotten to just being cameras around people in their supposedly natural environment.
Candid camera.
Anyway, I was watching the show last night, and Amber, I had to stop when at the end of episode 2, when Becky starts to go.
You haven't watched episode 3?
I have not watched episode 3.
Oh,
yet.
It's so good.
Because a character, so you have the same people 30 years later. It's there's a lot of positivity.
Ricky,
Danny.
Wait, is that New Edition?
Bobby and Mike. If I love
New
girl,
Edition,
who cares who you like?
Cool it. Sean, cool it now.
Cool it
down. Same people, right? So they've all gone on to their lives. And I got to say, Amber, don't you think for a reality show, I was grooving on the positivity of it, because they're all so happy to see each other. But now I reached a moment in episode 2 where one of
People are
them,
really gonna groove on the positivity of it, man.
I just like any reality show that doesn't go for a jugular in a negative way. But I've reached a point
You
where
like when it goes for a jugular in a positive way.
One of the people in the house started to express a certain opinion. Becky.
Oh, Joe, just wait till episode 3.
And
Wait, so they got them living together again?
they have them
Husbands?
living
Oh,
together
shit.
again
in the same house
in the same house,
exact apartment.
in the same
Oh.
exact apartment.
together.
And the TV show, the producer,
Stop
they
being
start-
polite
do they
and
start getting real?
yes. And one of the things, of course, that the producer set up was they showed them footage from the original show, and they showed them some of the conversations that they had and some of the fights that they had. And I'm at this point now where this one person, Becky,
By the way, we're going to do that with this podcast in 30 years.
Yeah.
She's starting to go a little, and I'm going to use the slang of the day. She's starting to go a little Karen. And Amber, it was so nerve-wracking to me that I paused it and I have not watched. There's literally like 7 minutes left in that epised, and then there's one more episode.
God,
But
and that's
it was-
7 minutes, man. I mean, talk about 7 minutes of hell. Good luck, buddy.
It just suddenly took that turn into the reality of uncomfortable tension. And it is, I think maybe the thing that I liked about it was that it did feel real. When I watched that
Too
show,
real. It
when
is
I
the
was-
too real world.
When I watched it when I was 17, it felt real to me. I don't think that,
100%.
of course there was manipulation, but it wasn't the same manipulation as now. But
Different manipulation.
to see it still, to reconnect with these people and to see that some things don't go away in some forms. I just thought it was.
They
I thought
were
it was
who
really
they
well
were,
done.
and they are who they are. They are who we thought they were.
I think it's a really well done show. I'm into it.
I absolutely love it, and I love it for a lot of reasons. One of them is the fact that it's a group of
Strangers.
I think no longer strangers, but I think Julie is the youngest and she's 49.
Yeah.
So the rest of the group, they're in their 50s, and
Are any of them 69? Jamie wants to know.
That would be so cool.
that'd be ideal.
Oh God, we're gonna have to change that password.
I have an idea for it.
So the age, right? Yes, the age.
No, but there's something sort of revolutionary about that, because so much of pop culture is just like extremely young people doing extremely young things. And I get why, like, there's a sexiness to young people, but there's something great about
To be able to come back to those same people 30 years later, this is the first time
It's
any
like a
reality
Mike
show-
Lee movie.
well, and also that
It
like,
is a little
life
bit like that.
doesn't end at 30 or whatever, the way pop culture sort of
Right.
makes you feel, because they all have
Youth-oriented.
vibrant full lives, and and they're so fun. Like, I could watch them get drunk in their PJs in that apartment all day long.
It's like saying
so fun.
it's like saying I wasn't gonna say like your parents, but like almost like older siblings come back and be in many ways the same person, the same people they still are, but
And they all
also
look
getting
great. I mean, I'm sure they kind of prepped for they knew that the reunion was coming, but I feel like Julie looks better than she did 30 years ago. What the hell?
and overall having I guess all that I've really sparked to really in the show is that, and we've kind of talked about this before, is just a sense of perspective from time.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing people have again, mostly different perspectives because they've lived 30 years of their life now. And so
Well, and that's what's watch episode 3 and we'll talk.
I'm gonna
but
get
like
to it.
it's jarring when somebody
Right.
is incapable of growth.
Right.
It honestly
Right.
stands out.
That's it.
So you like the new Real World? That's your parting shot.
Yeah,
on
I
Paramount
watched the
Plus.
thing.
Watch it.
I watched the
makes-
thing.
Yeah, it makes it gives my husband money, so keep watching Paramount Plus.
I got a cushion. All right. Parting shots to Jamie.
Yeah, I'll also pitch a show. What about not what about, that's a weird way to segue. There's a show that I would like to recommend. It's also a documentary series. It's called Last Chance U on Netflix. And I guess there's another season, maybe a different sport, but this one's basketball, and it's just getting into the East LA community college basketball teams, I think last season. And it's really well done, and all these players and the coaches, and it's intense, and all these stories, and I just think there's something for everyone in it. And
what is it their last chance at?
I don't know. Well, no, I do know. It's the main theme is that especially if you're pursuing basketball as a career, if you're in the community college level, for a lot of them, that means that there was maybe a setback or an unexpected hiccup in like a career that saw them with, either going to college or the NBA, but they're still trying to get there. But at this point in their careers, this is kind of make or break. They got to step it up at this level. So the stakes
are high.
Couldn't be higher.
Stakes is high, baby.
Yeah.
Jamie, I think it's weird that you're not mentioning that the team they're playing against is called the Overlords, which is like
they only play one team the whole season.
They're kind of like the
well, look who it is again.
You do know this is your
Are we
last
flipping a coin?
chance.
Oh no, it's basketball.
I'll also make two other recommendations. One, a book I mentioned earlier. I'm surprised that none of you have read it. It's The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. He's a screenwriter, but it's something I keep going back to that just describes this resistance that wants us to do anything but write or whatever we want to do. And then I've only read about a third of it, but Jeff Tweedy, the lead singer of Wilco, the band, it's so funny that there's a building next to the Dynasty.
Not the lead singer of Wilco, the
Car Wash
movie.
Well, listen, next door to Dynasty, there's a building that they've been building for basically since we moved in. They finally finished. It's called Wilco Apartments. But as part of their marketing, it's like Wilco, not the band. And it's silly. They're the nicest people.
They need help with their marketing.
But it's got to the point where if I'm saying Wilco the band, I feel I have to. In my world, like Wilco can be many different things.
Not the building.
Not the building. But he wrote a book called How to Write One Song. And just the first three, little readable chapters. But it's so inspiring. I'm going to really write a bunch of songs, guys. No, I'm going to write one song. But
you have to play it on this show.
Yeah, I know. I already have a song that I wrote down months ago that I need to do.
Give yourself a deadline. If not the next podcast, maybe the one after. Like, give yourself a deadline. Here, debut, baby.
But I want,
I just want to interject and say, if you're going to write a song, that's great. But is that the thing?
What do you mean?
Well,
is that the thing?
Maybe it's the thing for now.
Well, arguably a song can be anything. Arguably.
What?
I'll argue that.
I mean, specifically, in this case, it's talking about...
Not a song. A mug.
Guys,
that might be the song of the mug maker.
Let's be reasonable here. A song can be a shoe. We know that.
A song can be anything. A song can be anything.
Wait, to Sean's point.
Tell them a song can be anything.
That'll distract him.
They'll spend the rest of the show trying to figure out what the fuck you're talking about and give you a chance to let this edible kick in and get away.
You will believe everything is a song.
No, Amber knows what I mean.
Right. I think to Sean's point, I don't know what it is because I can't speak for you, but it sounds like you have specific creative goals, and writing one song might not be in alignment with those creative goals.
I would argue
to go one step further, if you don't have creative goals, then you shouldn't be torturing yourself for not accomplishing them since
Because
you
they
don't have
exist.
them yet. Yeah.
right. Well, I do have them. I just keep forgetting them. And one of them is definitely to write a song.
Hence the notes. Hence the notes.
Hence
right,
the notes.
Jamie? Hence the notes.
Hence the
Hey.
notes.
You know, I saw a thing last night on, I won't say the name of the program. The host's last name is Hannity.
Oh boy.
Oh,
He was talking about
Sean, this is not-
That's your resistance.
This is not the show you're recommending, is it?
He was talking about the president of the United States. He was making fun of the president because the president
I
carries
thought it was
around
disrespectful and un-American to ever make fun of the president.
right. But the president carries around a note in his pocket. I mean, he has a couple, but one of them is a note that says on it the number of people who have died of COVID. And it changes every day because the count goes up every day. So it's a new number every day. So he's not going to remember every number every day. So he keeps this note in his pocket to remind himself of exactly how many people have died to this point because of this pandemic. That some people would say a lot of those people didn't have to die if people who had his job before him had done a better job. Now, on this show, which I won't say the name of, but I will say the last name of the host, which is Hannity, he was making fun of this idiot president for needing notes to remember things. Like, why would you need a note, you doddering old fool, that you don't, you need these prompts to remember? It's clear proof that this man has dementia and is not well, whatever. I don't agree with that. But the larger point is, Jamie, if you have these creative goals and you are forgetting them and you keep talking about writing yourself notes, I think that's a thing that you could do that would be helpful, is writing yourself a note and carrying that and literally looking at that every day and going, this is the thing I really want to do. Am I moving towards that, or am I moving sideways or away from that, or, in a different direction?
I do write notes.
Understand what I'm saying?
That is a really good piece of advice, and it feels like not. It feels like in your language, Jamie. Like,
no, it is. It's and I do have these notes too. I have piles of them, so it's like
right. You have to winnow them down so that you just have one that you look at. Like, he doesn't have like pick up the dry cleaning on a note in his pocket because he's the president of the United States. He's focused on what's important, not on a million different things. So,
and here's another for
you.
You can't write a song without notes.
Oh, okay. You are too high to understand what I'm saying.
Jamie,
no, I get it.
Jamie, I'm gonna run with what Sean is saying, and I have a suggestion to really make it stick. If you could get tattoo on
the
your
goals
face
backwards on your face, yeah.
Do like full on.
Looking in the mirror.
What's that dude's name? The young kid with all the tattoos.
Takashi
Post Malone.
Post Malone it.
The young kid.
Post Malone it.
It's whatever the most grandpa way of describing him, and I love it.
Jamie, make it permanent in your skin, baby.
And look! Oh my God, this is true. The one tattoo I have is a fucking note.
Song.
It's a song note. Whoa!
You keep coming back to the song thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's...
Just write the song and get it out of your system, and then we'll get to the next goal.
I'm not trying to write the next...
What wonderfully supportive encourage. Just write the stupid damn song.
Wait, are you guys just like scared of the song?
And then can we get to the serious shit?
Yeah. Anyway, How to Write One Song by Jeff Tweedy. And it demystifies, and I highly recommend it.
Demystifies what?
Songwriting.
Writing one song.
Oh, okay. And you said the first couple of chapters are readable?
The first, I'd say,
After
4
that.
are readable. It might really suck after chapter 4, but
You hear that, Kirkus Reviews?
You were interested in How to Write One Song by Jeff Tweedy. Would you like to read How to Write 2 Songs by Ringo Starr?
yes, yeah, I would.
All right, parting shots, Amber.
Yes. So I live in an apartment now, and I have for almost 3 months, where I'm allowed to have a dog, and I still don't have a dog.
No matter how many times you ask Jeff to wear the suit, he will not.
Okay, so I'm going to make your eyelids blue. And what if we made your nose brown and had little whiskers on
I'm
it?
wet.
What?
Why are you spitting on my nose? Are you closer? Do you feel closer? Do you go online and look at dogs?
Joe, can I have my own parting shot, please?
Joe.
Because I'll tell you this, if you go online and look up whether you should throw away moldy salsa, you'll get conflicting ideas.
I didn't mean to shame you, Joe. Please come back.
Here I am.
So Jeff had, like I said before, he works for Paramount Plus, and they recently launched and had the rebranding. So he's been crazy busy. So he said, let's not get a dog until the launch, because I'm going to be so consumed with this. I won't be able to be present and available for a new family member. And so that's happened. So now it's like, okay, pew, 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 let's get a dog. Turns out it's very competitive to get a dog right now. So it's like a full-time job. I am searching for dogs. I'm applying for jobs. I'm sending emails, and it feels like my acting
In
career.
addition to yoga, meditation,
Right. And my
working out,
job.
going for a walk.
It feels like my acting career again. Like I just am getting rejection emails from dogs all day long.
Man.
Like, it's dark. It's not the greatest.
Thanks, but no thanks with a paw print next to it.
Right. Well, at first I was like, oh, like
I mean,
gonna
you
wait.
certainly have a great look, but we're going to go in a different direction.
Right. You're a little fat.
You could have put on some makeup for this call.
We yeah, at first I was very like, okay, when a dog calls to me, like then I will know we'll have some sort of connection. Already it's online, like it's disconnected. But now I'm just like, anyone that's available is like, can I have this dog, please? Like every single one. And it's a no dog. I haven't got like
this is the worst version of that. I didn't pick the dog picked me,
Right.
and you're like, no dogs are picking me.
And it's not like personal in the sense that I think it's just really competitive and people are applying before me. And also we don't have any experience with, like, this would be our first pet. This is Jeff's first pet his whole life.
I bet you
How have you treated the dogs you've had before?
Well, that's the thing. All of the
Have you given them
applications.
treats and taken them out for walks and cleaned up behind them?
We've
All
never
of-
had it.
Okay, I'll see you later. Next.
Right? All of the applications are like, how many pets do you have? And I'm like, 0. And then it's like, what are their names? And I'm like, I don't have any. And they're like, how did they die? And I'm like, I don't have any. And then they're like, who's your vet? And I was like, I don't have one. Like, I don't.
Will the other dogs accept me immediately, or will it be some kind of competition where I have to prove that I'm alpha or beta or gamma or delta or on and on and on?
So someday I'll get a dog, but right now it's
Hey, that could be a song. Someday I'll get a dog. Write that down, Jamie.
Also, the first thing you said, there was 2 rhymes that were so good.
Oju, Katie, Lewis, Sherman, and Criswell.
Well, there is that song, How Much Is That Dog in the Window? But anyway.
What did I say?
Oh, it was like you said, dun, 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 and then it was like sounded like a well-named Yoga with Adrian video. If that makes sense to you, I felt like it was a joke that you might understand.
I think Jamie just expressed how he hears our voices.
We're like the parents in Peanuts.
Like Peanuts.
You're more than that. I hear you enunciate things.
La 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 la.
No, specifically, it was very poetic. The way you said it was.
Oh, thanks.
I got momentum. I feel like one of the words started with an M. So,
what kind of sleeping accommodations did your last dog have? Comfortable?
Well, and that's some of the applications.
Uncomfortable?
The applications are like, where will your dog sleep? And I was like, where he wants. I don't know. I have to talk to him. Like,
See, that's not a decision I want to have to make. I'd like that decision to be made for me.
I would like to know if you sleep well.
Oh no, not this week.
Hey, there's got to have been a boom in adoption right now.
100%. Every website is like, COVID is making this insane. And I'm sure it will happen. It's just hilarious how I went from like being very picky to just like, oh, that one's available.
One eye, two legs. Give them here.
Sure. Yeah.
No teeth. No teeth.
That's cute.
Oh, dogs with no teeth are the cutest.
How many
So
teeth
I'll
do
keep you
dogs
updated.
have?
32.
32.
Okay, just making sure.
Unless they get their wisdom teeth out. Wait, do dogs have wisdom teeth?
That's
oh boy. Next.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned on the Lo Sho Po.
It's a little bit tough on my self-esteem. Like I have to keep reminding myself that it's not personal, but it doesn't feel good.
I see under special skills you listed estimating number of teeth a dog has.
Aaron, is that correct? Aaron is telling us 42 teeth for dogs.
Oh wow.
Is that
I think
true?
he's just giving us the answer to the universe.
Or James Worthy's number?
Okay, so no dog, but working on it.
Amber, right now there's a dog being neglected somewhere that's going to be all yours.
Jamie, don't say shit like that. Yeah, exactly. There is a starving dog somewhere.
So apparently puppies have 28 teeth and adults have 42.
Ow.
But they're probably born with 42.
Yeah, probably. Definitely.
Or wait,
anything else? Anything else?
Don't they buy the other teeth and have them put in?
Doesn't that sound like a toilet book? Hold on.
Go on.
Like a book that you would see on a toilet, like when you're 10 years old.
Boy, I'm definitely not going home with this guy.
Do dogs have wisdom teeth?
I miss the days when Jamie would go into a Barnes and Noble. Where are your toilet books?
What was that story? I vaguely remember a Barnes and Noble situation.
Oh, no. I made that up.
Pretend thing that you just said.
No. I think there was a story about me going into Barnes and Nobles and asking about the toilet books.
Jamie, you probably at some point I'm sure you were in a Barnes and Noble at some point. Yeah.
I just kind of like tapped into a memory of telling a story about being in a Barnes and Noble, but I have no idea if it was long shot related. It was anyway, once I've been into a Barnes and Noble bathroom before.
Cool.
Were you going to say you once got busy in a Barnes and Noble bathroom?
Yeah.
I have another parting shot, and I keep doing this. It keeps being my tonal shift fucked up.
I'm glad I think you're going to bring up what you bring up.
And it's very awkward because I don't know how to. We were having fun, but there was a shooting this week targeting Asian women in Atlanta, and it affected me. Not that it's about me, but it's upsetting. And I just think that we have a racism problem in this country that we need to address. It's poisonous, and it's affecting a lot of people, and I'm against it.
You're down with racism?
I'm not.
I mean, you're not down with racism, but down with racism.
Right. It's. I just feel like we have to acknowledge it on some level. I would feel weird if we did.
I'm glad you brought it up, Amber. I was thinking about that for today's show as well. And I just wanted to say, actually, that we've talked on the show about sometimes the healthy benefits of unplugging from things or disconnecting from things. But I think to just remind everyone, there's also things that you don't want to let go by you, because if you do, that's actually detrimental to who you are as a person. And it's terrible that the reminders come from tragedies like this, but I just wanted to say for anyone listening, and when you try to process these things, this is an opportunity for anyone who is not a part of a group or a certain community, or a people, that take some time to connect with this and to maybe bring your blinders down a little bit as to what you're conscious and aware of, and at least let it start there. You know, there were incredible things written this week, testimonials from Asian Americans and Asians in the United States about their life experience. And if you can take some time, however you can, and again, bring those blinders down, maybe connect with some things that you've never really, because of who you are in your life, you haven't really thought about, and the life experiences of other people, and try to connect with that in a way. That's what builds empathy. And if it leads to more action, if you're the kind of person who can make a donation at these times, or if you volunteer in some way, or just become more aware of things. I hate that it always happens after something like this, but that's the time when I read things online that let me know how many charitable organizations are out there working for people, and to help make their lives better and protect them. So just a reminder to everyone, disconnect when you need to, because you don't want to become overwhelmed. Handle as much as you can, but also take opportunities to try to listen and absorb what people who are in great pain are telling you. So,
sorry, what are you guys talking about?
And at the risk of being a horrifically offensive segue, as I mentioned the last podcast, I saw Minari last week, and it was excellent. I cannot recommend it enough. So I'm going to echo Sean's recommendation. It was really, really good.
Nominated for
as it should
Oscars.
Be. It was great.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. I thought that it might actually be heavier than it was. I found there was heaviness, but there was a lot of joy in it as well.
I always like when you can use, I like when you can use the word lyrical about a movie, and like it sometimes it's not good, but sometimes it is good. And I think in this case it was good. It was like there was a lyricism to it. Like, I think that speaks to what you're saying. Certainly there were moments that were deeply dramatic, but a lot of it was just slice of life of this is what's happening right now,
It makes sense, since we established a song can be anything. So
it could be a movie.
It's a song.
A song.
Can I just go back to what you guys were talking about? Because one thing that I was very struck by this week, I actually found it. Well, I found a lot of things, but what was your reaction to the whole thing where the guy came out and said he was having a bad day and this is what happened, and that whole thing? I
was against it. I didn't think it was good. You're talking about the police chief who had the
spokesman. Yeah, he was like a captain who came out and to explain that they had caught this guy, and he said he said something that sounded like he was saying this guy had a bad day.
It felt like he was defending a killer, which is a strange stance.
Making an excuse. Terrible. It was awful.
Now, the thing that I saw after that was that the way he was saying that, he was saying this is what the guy said. In custody, he said there was no racial motive and I was having a bad day and whatever. And it sounded like this guy was saying that it was his own opinion, but really what he was doing was relaying what this person in custody had said.
I guess my response to that would be how often the stories of people of color who are arrested or shot down by police officers, the police don't come out and tell their side of the story.
That was my immediate reaction as well. I was like, I can't imagine had this been a young black man that he would have come out and said, here's his excuse. I'm going to present his excuse for why he committed this horrific crime. It was so, and I get like, it seems like that's really what that guy was doing. He was not saying this is my opinion of what happened. This guy just had a bad day. He really was saying this is what this guy said. But like, why was he saying that? Like it didn't make any sense to me.
To present the information the way he did. And here's the thing. I haven't watched any rest of that spokesperson's presentation.
Have you seen episode 3 of Real World?
Not yet.
You got it.
Not yet. But for someone not to understand in the job that you have as a spokesperson, that if you presented the information that way, it would have truly an effect on.
I go one step further. Like, it's not even about how you presented that information. It's like, why would you present that information? Why? There's no reason to say that. Here is what the defendant said he was doing this for. Right. When would he ever say that about somebody else who did the thing?
Right.
It doesn't matter how he's presenting it. He shouldn't be presenting that. Well, we caught the guy. He's locked up. We'll find out what the fuck happened.
Right. And I've heard other people write about this, but it also felt like that police captain or whatever his position is, it was like it was preemptively excusing himself. Like it felt like he saw himself in that guy too much of like, do you know what I'm saying? Well, like he had too much empathy.
Two things. If someone presented that information as
I keep thinking you're freezing, like you go,
no,
two things. And I'm like, oh shit, the internet's acting up again.
If the spokesperson was presenting as a point of reporting what the suspect had said in whatever interrogation they had or whatever, you can still frame around it in a way that, that does not make it seem like what it did, which was that he was already building some kind of
case for
immediate case, immediate sympathy, I mean, to think about that phrasing, it's so insidious because everyone hears that and goes, oh, he had like everyone knows what a bad day, he had a bad day, but that's not what happened here. That's not how these things happen. And it is.
But I'm
No. I know what you're saying.
I'm saying there's no, like, why he doesn't need to say, there's no reason to say that. Like what if he had said, what if it was a different guy, different crime, a guy goes into a gas station, somebody steps on his foot and he turns around and shoots the guy in the face and kills him. And then this guy comes out and says, well, we caught the guy and he said the other guy stepped on his foot. So it felt aggressive to him. So he had no choice but to respond. Yeah, it wouldn't happen. That would not happen.
I understand that. I'm saying
So it's not about framing. It's about there's no reason to frame anything. There's nothing to be framed.
No, well, I
that
think
is a given.
Right.
Well,
It's a bad day.
When you murder someone, you're having a bad day.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I think that there has to be framing involved, Sean, because of the manner in which, and I'm not saying it's right, but the manner in which mass shootings are reported. I think that we've come to a point where everyone immediately wants to have a reason, an explanation. Most of the time, these things are described as senseless. I don't think that's true. I don't think these are senseless things. But people look for some kind of explanation. Why? They want to know the answer to the question, why did this person do a terrible thing? I think that if a reporter had asked him, did the suspect make a statement? Then he would relay the statement that the suspect made. I'm just saying that in this case, saying the fact that he presented that information, it would have made it completely incumbent on him to counter that, neutralize that in some way for having said it. Here's the other thing about this guy. Would this spokesperson ever do that? No. Why? Because it was found shortly thereafter, a photo that this cop had posted that was an anti-Chinese sentiment about the coronavirus, about T-shirts. He had literally reposted on his Facebook page or something, this cop plugging T-shirts that were anti-China about the virus. And this is the racism that Amber's mentioning, is that it is not just the racism of the suspect, it's the racism of the cop who's talking about the suspect. And
the whole system.
And
definitely the former president. I don't know if the current president is an angel himself, but definitely the former president,
the president now carries around a note in his pocket that says, "You are not an angel," and then in parentheses it says, "Yet."
Don't be racist.
Yeah.
And look, if you're not aware of it, if you haven't seen any reporting on it, there have been multiple stories that have come out about the massive surge in hate crimes against Asian Americans.
I took, through my work, it was optional, but I took a online class on how to be an ethical bystander for anti-Asian harassment and xenophobia the day before these shootings.
Wow.
So it's an unfortunate thing that is rampant in our country right now.
That's not what Tucker Carlson says, but we don't have to get into that.
What about Hannity?
I don't know what that is. All right. Anything else, Amber? Parting shots?
No, I think that was a lot. I don't have a dog. I have shame. Racism is bad.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom.
All the things.
I love how one of those won't change, but the other two might.
Parting shots to me.
Don't think too hard.
I was reading a thing. So everybody's all nervous about how things are going to go when we start back up again, right? Like, and I get that. I am too. Like, just integrating people into each other's lives again, and how is that going to whatever, and whatever.
And we're a traumatized population. Like,
there's some things are going to be
effects.
Weird. Yeah. But I was reading a thing today about conversations and how ending conversations, how to end conversations. Like,
you just leave the Zoom.
Well, it's funny. You guys were saying that earlier, and that was one of the things they mentioned, was that people now, to avoid awkwardness at the end of a Zoom conversation, will go, "Oh, sorry, I think something's happening. I can't," and then they'll just end the conversation so that they don't have that awkward moment of like, "We're done talking. I'm leaving."
Fake out.
And anyway, it was all these things about how people know. there's this weird expectation people have that some people think the conversation will go on forever unless you find a way out of it, and there's no reason to think that.
Don't want it to go on forever. So
correct. The problem is that a lot of times, and this is definitely true, one person is more interested in keeping the conversation going than the other one. So that's when it starts to get weird and whatever. But they said one thing. I mean, there was a bunch of things in the article, but one thing was a thing that people do that's a good way to get out of conversations is they go, listen, I'm going to let you go. And then they exit the conversation, because what that does is it says to the other person, I know that you have important things to do. It's not about me. It's about you. And
I don't want to keep you any further.
And I read that. And that is that is a pet peeve of mine when people say, I'm going to let you go. Because it feels, it has always felt to me exactly what they were saying in this article, which was
disingenuous,
manipulative. Like I'm trying to make you feel like this is something important about you.
So you want them to say, I'm done with this convo. I gotta go.
Or maybe more politely
way.
Maybe Sean, please let me go.
please
stop talking.
Like, look, I know you got a lot going on, but I have things to do.
If you care,
I don't know what the right answer is, but I just felt like that was one of their great solutions, and I was like, that has bugged me for 25 years. When people say that, it irritates the shit out of me, because it's like, I always feel like they're saying this is your fault that we're ending this, and I'm pinning it on you, when in fact I'm the one who's ending the conversation by choice.
I've never not had your reaction, Sean, when I've been told that. I immediately always think that every time, like, oh, you just want to go.
And you don't want to take responsibility for it, so you're pinning it on me. It's not like I think this is a fucking walk in the park. I'm working my ass off to even have this conversation with you in the first place.
My friend John Michael, who I think you all know,
stayed at his hotel.
Definitely Sean and Jamie too. But he is the best at ending phone conversations, because at first it seems rude, but like in hindsight, you're like, yeah, he'll just say, that's all I have. Click.
Which at least is honest and straightforward. And that's the end of the conversation.
And say click.
Click.
Everyone knows that the international
I do like to say
sound
click
word.
And then go, I'm still here.
That was a trick.
Click.
Please let me go.
But I did appreciate, to your point, I appreciate how much he doesn't make it about me. It's like he is done, and he's making that very clear. I am done.
It's on him. Yeah. Which I feel like the other thing, you know what it is? It feels very passive aggressive.
It's a little patronizing. Are we going to let
That's not what I was saying, but yes, I agree.
Are we going to?
I was saying passive aggressive. You said patronizing. Not the same. Yeah. What?
No, not the same. Not the same. But yeah. Are we going to let the listeners go? Because they've got.
It's been a while.
Because they've got. I mean.
Yeah, they've got to be busy. We got to let them go back to their lives.
Our listeners are some of the busiest people on earth.
I don't think we should let them go.
I thought this was going to be a shorter episode, so that I didn't because I didn't check in, and then it turns out nope, longer.
Right.
Folks, we're going to let you go.
Now they hate us.
Quickly check and see if anyone has tweeted about you or liked one of your Instagram posts. Check again.
Again.
That's
what
it.
about Facebook?
That's a funny throwaway. What about Facebook? What about it?
Guys, this was fun.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see you next time on The Long Shot, come hell or high water. Good luck with the dog, Amber.
Thanks.
We love you. Stay safe.
Oh shit, my computer's. Oh, shit.